The Graphic Daily Press House has organized a workshop on the deadly Ebola pandemic. The one-day seminar was aimed to sensitize the media on the Ebola and was under the theme Ebola Pandemic and Level of the State Preparedness. Deputy Minister of Health, Dr. Victor Asare-Bampo, says Ghana has no record of any Ebola case yet, but the probability of an outbreak is very high due to the influx of visitors from Ebola-infected countries, and as such, Ghana should be on the alert as an Ebola outbreak could affect the country's economic security.
A few personal protective equipment have already been distributed to the regions. As my colleague Titus said, those are not nearly enough. So government, like I said, dispatched me last week to go and procure or initiate discussions to procure more. 10,000 personal protective equipment like what you saw are on their way back to Ghana for onward distribution to all frontline personnel, health personnel, immigration personnel, and everybody who has the potential to come into contact with suspected cases.
Dr. Bedusa Akodia of the Ghana Medical Association also emphasized the need to practice hand washing under running water, which is an important variant in halting the spread of diseases such as Ebola and cholera, and further stated that the government has put in place measures to ensure the Ebola virus does not affect Ghanaians.
I think the GMA made a lot of submission, or based on submission in that direction. As citizenry and as professional bodies, that is what they need to do to keep all of us on track. And we are also happy on their own. They are doing something to support the process.
West African nations affected by the worst ever outbreak of Ebola have been urged to screen all people at international airports, seaports and major land crossing in order to contain its spread. The World Health Organization said on Monday that authorities should stop anyone with signs of the virus from traveling, days after it warned that the magnitude of the outbreak was vastly underestimated. The World Health Organization reiterated the risk of getting infected with the virus on an aircraft was small and there was no need for wider travel or trade restrictions. Senegal faces roadblocks in Ebola fight. The UN agency says any person with an illness consistent with Ebola should not be allowed to travel unless the travel is part of an appropriate medical evacuation. Cameroon meanwhile closed all its land, sea and air borders with Nigeria in a move to prevent the spread of the disease. No cases of Ebola have been recorded in Cameroon, which shares a 2,000-kilometer border with Nigeria, where the virus has killed 4 people and infected about a dozen others. The outbreak in West Africa has already killed 1,145 and infected more than 2,000. Meanwhile, Liberia's information minister said on Tuesday that all 17 suspected Ebola-infected patients who fled a quarantine center in West Point, Monrovia on Sunday have been found and transferred back to treatment centers.
The world's most pierced man, Rolf Buckles, has been denied entry into Dubai after he was due to make an appearance at a hotel nightclub. The 53-year-old German has 453 piercings on his body and face, as well as 2 horn implants on his forehead. Mr. Buckles told the media that airport staff said they feared he may be practicing black magic. The computer aspect was recognized by the Guinness Book of Records in 2012 as the world's most pierced man. Mr. Buckles said he was initially allowed through immigration but was later stopped prior to customs and put on a flight to Istanbul. Police and officials in Dubai have yet to comment on the incident. An official has come out to say that fresh auditions are being held to select new Ghanaian candidates for the most popular TV reality show of the continent. Organizers of the Big Brother Africa competition have allegedly rejected the candidates selected to represent Ghana at the contest. Sources at Endemol, producers of the BBA show, said the 4 candidates who made it through the selection stage in Ghana were rejected because of the Ebola scare in the West African sub-region. It is expected that the same fate will befall candidates from all over West Africa, especially countries where the Ebola disease have been recorded. The disease has killed 1,145 persons in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea and Nigeria since it broke out. The new audition is only open to Ghanaian nationals living in South Africa as a precautionary measure.
That ends News Alert on Capital Television.